They did it. They finally did it. Everyone said it couldn't be done, but the Communist Party of China, they finally did it. What did they do? Well, let's talk about it. Greetings, Dharma mates, and welcome back to my kitchen. It's your friendly neighborhood Zen priest here. And today, I'm trying out a new style of beard. I'm not sure if I like it or not. Please tell me down below in the comments what you think. But no, we're not here merely to discuss the aesthetics of my face, but we're here to talk about a huge event within Mahayana Buddhism. On July 27th, the Shaolin Temple, the legendary Kung Fu Temple of China, and more importantly, the birthplace of Zen Buddhism, they released an official statement that their abbot, Shi Yongxin, the abbot of the Shaolin Temple itself, is under heavy investigation for a number of crimes. These include embezzling of temple funds, having illegitimate children and thus breaking the Buddhist precepts, and of course, due to having a bunch of children, also having multiple relationships with women. The Buddhist Association of China has also moved to completely disrobe him, effectively removing his status as a monk. And this is huge. Perhaps not here in the West, but very much so in China and the East in general. I mean, this guy, people used to just pour praise upon him for promoting a modernized version of Shaolin and Chinese culture, both within China, but mainly abroad. He had meetings with popes, with prime ministers, with all forms of foreign dignitaries. And now he's being disrobed by the very institution he himself helped set up. There would be no Shaolin today if it wasn't for this guy. At least not in the Western mindset. The Western image of Shaolin wouldn't exist today if it wasn't for this guy. Controversy isn't new to Shi Yongxin. People used to refer to him as the CEO monk due to the way he promoted Buddhism and Shaolin in particular. Others in Dongfang called him the playboy monk. He even received a luxury car from local officials due to how well he promoted Shaolin and the region. And we all know when religious people start driving around luxury cars, things are going to end up bad. He's faced similar accusations for a decade now. People living in the Shaolin Temple and in the Donghuan area in general, where the temple is located, they know about this. I mean, even I, a white pasty guy in Sweden, I knew about this. And I've never been to Shaolin. I've never even been outside of Europe. But I have acquaintances online who's been talking about this. This isn't news. What's news is that he's now actually having to face consequences for his actions. Now, there are a lot of rumors going around, and I don't want to pour water on the rumor mill or whatever you say, so I'm just going to ignore them. If you want to read about the rumors and all of that, Google it. But what I will say is that he's not the only one. There will be more investigations, and people are saying that up towards 300 people are embezzled in this entire situation. So there will be more arrests in the days to come. And many people within the Buddhist community, both on the ground in Donghuang and honestly, me myself, we're saying that this has been long overdue. We may not look favorably upon the Communist Party as a whole, and we may not agree with the kind of punishment that he will be receiving. But the fact is that the Shaolin Temple has become more of a tourist trap these last few decades under his leadership. And why does this matter? Well, the Shaolin Temple isn't just some random backwards temple out in, I don't know, Minnesota. I don't know. It's the birthplace of Zen Buddhism, or Chan, as it's called in Chinese. It's where Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of Zen, as he's often called, went to meditate in a cave for 9 years. And many of us are hoping that a new abbot might restore some of the more spiritual focus of the temple. And not just, turning it into the Chinese version of Cirque du Soleil. And indeed, in a swift move, just a few days after he was removed as an abbot, Chinese authorities have already chosen a new abbot. Because yes, the Shaolin Temple itself will not choose their own abbot, of course. We're talking about China here, after all. The new abbot is called Shi Yongxin. Shi Yongxin has been appointed the new abbot of Shaolin. And he was the previous abbot of the White Horse Temple. which is apparently the oldest temple in China, which I had no idea about because you only hear about the Shaolin Temple. I wouldn't claim to know much about him. All I know is that he's a well-respected member of the Chinese Buddhist community, so that's good. And he's widely known for his international outreach, where he tried to connect and network with the Buddhist communities outside of China. A lot of people are hoping that this will constitute a return to more traditional spiritual Buddhist practices and values. And I hope they're right. I'm doubtful. There's a lot of politics going on and a lot of money, obviously, considering what happened to the former abbot. My pessimistic guess is that it will be business as usual at the Shaolin Temple, at least for the foreseeable future. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really do. Please let me know if you think I'm wrong or if I'm right below. I'd really like to hear your opinion, especially if you have either been at Shaolin and practiced there yourself, or if you have some sort of official connections to the temple. I would love to get your input. Because like I said, I'm just a pasty old Zen Buddhist priest in Sweden. I'm not connected to the Shaolin Temple in any way, shape or form, except for culturally, through my Buddhist practice, being a Zen Buddhist priest, and Shaolin being the birthplace of Zen, which of course comes with a form of investment in it being a place that's taken seriously. I have a few acquaintances online who have either trained at the temple themselves, or they live in the area or have lived in the area or so on. But other than that, no, I have no connections to the place. So why am I talking about it? Well, as always, I don't just want to share random gossip and news about what's going on in the Buddhist sphere, although there's of course the intrinsic value of being aware of what's going on in the global Sangha, but I want to use it as a sort of stepping stone towards talking about something else. When this story about this abbot has been shared online, a lot of people have been saying, no, you shouldn't share this, don't share this, don't talk bad about the Sangha, don't try to cause a schism. The Bodhisattva precepts include not slandering and not speaking ill of people, especially the monastics. But that's not what's going on here. I, as a Zen Buddhist priest myself, I love when priests, monks, and teachers are exposed for dumb stuff like this. Why? Not because I love that it's happening. It's not some form of, schadenfreude or skadeglädje, as we say in Swedish. But realize that these things would be going on behind closed doors, regardless if we knew it or not. And I'm glad that they're pushed out into the light so that people can see what's really going on, that these fraudulent monks, teachers, and priests can be exposed and hopefully start on a path of redemption. The idea that priests, teachers, or monks, or clergy, just in general, that we somehow are, perfected beings, that's really dangerous. That's when you start to move into cult territory. And we don't want that. I hope we at least can agree that we don't want to turn into cults. So I'm glad that this is getting exposed. We need to hold clergy to a higher standard. And we need to hold them responsible for their actions. It's as simple as that. We're not doing anyone any favors by hiding inappropriate behavior. On the contrary, we're not being noble friends on the path. Noble friendship is part of the Buddhist practice. And being a noble friend means calling out people on their bullshit. I'm getting called out on my bullshit all the time. Some of it is valid, some of it is not, but at least people are challenging me on it. I'm inviting you to challenge me all the time. I love being challenged. It's the only way I can grow. Now, this must, of course, be done within proper channels, both when it comes to international and national laws, of course, but also both within a Buddhist framework. It must come out of a place of compassion and out of a willingness to see the other person grow and improve themselves. We must always practice right speech, right action. But right speech isn't always being nice and quiet. I hope I got my message across, and I hope you now understand why I see this as a net good thing. I hope more teachers and clergy are exposed for their bad behavior. I'm not hoping for more teachers and clergy performing bad behaviors. Those are two different things. I hope you understand that. I want bad behavior to be exposed. I don't want more bad behavior. That's schadenfreude. We don't want that. This was a bit of a rambly video. That's what happens when you try to film videos in between your children sleeping. And I hope I didn't wake them up with all this shouting. But in any case, thank you for watching. And please like and subscribe, even if you hate me, even if you hate my videos, because at least it will tell the YouTube algorithm that you want more Buddhist and spiritual content. And that's what we do here. We comment on the human experience from a Buddhist and spiritual perspective. So until next time, take care of each other, stay vigilant, and be well. Last minute edition, I want to give a huge thank you to the YouTubers Rantoni and the Monkey Steals Peach for bringing all of this to a wider attention and for providing some of the information in this video. I'll link to their channels in the description. Not that I think they need it, they're much bigger than I am, but that's the right thing to do. And I'll also link to a few articles discussing this particular subject. So thank you for your contribution to the Buddhist community and to the YouTube community. Thank you.